everyone, Laura Lynn from the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop here. Welcome to Weekend Project. This one we're working on something Valentine-y, very love orientated. Actually, I saw this in Pinterest. It clearly inspires many people. And I was flipping through the other day looking for a project idea to do just before Valentine's Day, because I know what I want to do after Valentine's Day. So, and it was a little bit of a wall hanging with a tree and a heart on a branch and stuff like that. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing, because that's how I am. Okay. So what I've done here, I had to lay my big rulers down because when I rolled this up, I realized I rolled up all my little my branches. So, and I didn't really want to do that. So I just took some leftover gray fabric that I had, and I put a little fusible webbing on it, and I drew out. I am not the best drawer in the whole wide world. So, but clearly my traces are, and I just had some fun. That's all, that's all it's about, right? So I've done that so it'll be nice and stable. So I'm going to end up stitching that down on my little platform of wall hanging here. And then I made a little like fabric envelope, and I'll cut this on, I used pinking shears, so I'll cut this on an angle and attach my little pretty heart. And you know, if you have a little love note, and you can always put your little love note in the little envelope. You know, and you can, you know, either lick them, stick them, or something. You put a little sticker on there instead. And then I have a little bit of ribbon that I was just going to attach to. Obviously not that long, but I wanted to, clearly the cat's been chewing at this one, so we might have to nip that one off. A hungry cat. And then just place it on like one of the branches, and then it'll, anyway, it's some artsy fartsy thingy, and I'm going to do that because I feel like it. So I got this beautiful, actually red fabric was, I do some stuff for the local skate club, and it was a little bit left over. I was making a fishy costume, so I thought I'd use it for my nice little shiny heart. So as for the fabric, how to make the little envelope, I just, you could do a nice 2-inch strip and fold it up or what have you, and just, sew around, make yourself a little pocket, and then turn it right side out. Or I could have just placed the edges together and just pinking sheared all the way around, but I thought I really wanted it to kind of look like an envelope, so we'll just kind of work those corners out here. Okay, so let's do this first. Just nip those corners off to make it look like a point for an envelope. Okay, there, see, isn't that cute? There we go. And then we could put the heart over top of it and either stitch that down or glue it, or you can hand stitch it, or maybe even like a little applique stitch or something like that. I'm just going to do a little straight stitch and stitch it down. So leave the love note off to the side. Nobody needs to know what's in there. So wake up the computer here. And I'm just using gray thread just to keep it consistent. You may want to use red to match your heart. I clearly didn't even just pin this. I'm just like, oh, willy-nilly. And just, like I say, soft gray on the bottom and the top. And then you're going to want to attach the little ribbon or lace or even yarn or string or what have you. It doesn't have to be anything too exciting. What you got in your stash. You use a couple buttons instead, or a heart button, or what have you. I don't know, I just was inspired by it, and it's not exactly like the one I'd seen, so that's the best thing. It's being inspired by what's out there, but do your own thing. Okay, so there's my little heart envelope. Okay, and then we will add the non-cat chewed part. Okay, to the little back, we'll just do a little stitch and a stitch. See how I want to hang it off my branch first. My idea was to just kind of loop it on that one and then hang it there, and then we were going to do some stitching to keep all this all tacked down. You could adhesive if you wanted it to, like the press and heat or the press and bond and sort of something like that, but I want the stitches to really stand out to accent the tree sort of thing, right? So, or you could, it's totally up to you. You could put it just right over on top or just tuck underneath, but we'll tuck these, do a little stitcheroni real fast. You can make a little, bow on the ribbon if you wanted to. I mean, it's totally up to you. Go as crazy or as non-crazy as you like. Just try to make sure it's straight. It's not being curved. And it's kind of equally spaced from the other side. Okay. Who wouldn't want a love note hanging on a tree? As long as it was your love note. Oh, wrong scissors, not the pink and shears. Get all the little hairy tails off there. There we go, that one too. Oh, I need to get new snips, little tiny snips. Okay, so that's the one section. We're going to set that off to the side. So before the tree, we need to lay the land. And what I did is, because I'm a quilter and I have lots of strips and bits and doodads left over from my quilts and sides of quilts and stuff like that, I put them down as layers. So it would puff up and make this like more of a dimensional sort of thing. So I just used a couple of bits of scrappy jeany, very lightweight jean fabric. And then I even have it to the back, the batting in there, and then another layer in here, and I think I got two up here. So what I want to do now is stitch down this purple, okay, before I lay my tree. Okay, and I have it so it comes in a good, you know, ½ inch past, like, underside here, right? And it doesn't matter whether you stitch it right down on the edge or not, or what have you. It's just giving it some bulk, right? It's giving it that your little landscape a little bit of dimension. You know, and you don't even have to use fabric bits and like this. You can just use colored thread to navigate your landscape. I just put in a couple little angled curves, which represents hills and landscape. So, you know, don't make it too complicated. It's really quite easy just to be able to fool the eye that way. Okay, so now I've got it all pinned together. It's pinned to the back and to the front, all those batting. It's got the back, the middle batting, my landscape scenery, and then the little land. So I'll move that off to the side because I don't need that right now, and I don't want to get it caught up. And I'm just going to zip around it. I'm just going to tack it all down. Put it on a nice big stitch, like 4.5. Just secure it. And I'll square this up and put a nice little binding on it. I'm going to use different shades of pink and red. And I think going all the way around, like little squares or chunks or whatever. I haven't quite decided yet, but we'll take a picture of it when it's all done. Okay, don't forget to take some of your pins out as you go. I hate to get poked. Okay. And come up close. So you're sealing in that batting. You're feeling that you're sealing it in. Okay. And a nice big stitch helps you easily navigate, you know, little curves without having too many of an issue. And if you wanted this to be the landscape closer up to you and the tree farther away, this is where you would tuck the tree in. You tuck like the base of the tree down on under here, and then it would look like that it's farther in the distance and it would be closer up. But I kind of want it close up. Just a matter of placement, which changes the eye, right? Whoever says quilting is not art needs a little pop in the nose. That's just my feeling. Mama Pop's boxing match. It's just art with fabric. It's just a different medium than, you know, paint and canvas or wooden carving chisel tool or something, right? So anyways, okay, so there's our little hilly bit there. And now we're going to aim for the sky. I could have chose a lighter color. I thought, you know what, I'll just make it so it looks like clouds. It's a big chunk of cloud. Why not? Okay. And I used a couple of layers. I got one layer that does the whole bit, and then I added another little chunk that kind of lay on the side here just to, I don't know whether it was going to do that or not, add the dimension I was looking for, but it's there nonetheless. Okay, so just pop a couple of pins in to hold it down. So when I'm stitching, it's not going to move. I don't know, just thought it'd be a fun project. Never really done anything Valentine-ish wall hanging before, sort of thing. You know, it's not something we really go all crazy out here. You know, I I grew up working with my mom in the flower shop every Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, and don't really crave flowers when it comes to that time. It's like, it's okay. Chocolates for sure. Maybe not so much flowers. Now we end up ripping off so many thorns and so many roses for so many hours. And I'm just doing what I did on the bottom, just stitch around it. And if you wanted, you can certainly add more stitches in it to add the depth of clouds or what have you. I mean, it's completely up to you. As I've said many times, the only limitation is your imagination. So, okay. Come a little closer. I probably didn't need to make it so big, but it's fine. I want to make it as big as I want. And I want it to be seen, you know. And, you know, being that it's the quilt shop, you know, make something cool. Tuck that in there. Almost there. I just pretty much stitch down the tree and stitch down the... That's about it, really. Stitch down the tree. And then we're pretty much done. Attaching the little envelope. All right, one more side here. I want to take the rest of the stuff off my desk. My phone is in dire need of a charge, so that's why it's sitting there. It's making noises at me. I'm like, why? Hasn't been that dead on a battery in a while. All right, so there we go. Okay, little landscapey there going on. Don't worry about the fluff is off the side. We'll deal with those later. Now, it's placement of our tree. And that's where, you know, it's completely up to you. You can have it so it's right smack center, have it off to the side. You know, they say with art, you shouldn't center it, right? It should be off to the side a little bit and let this picture speak for itself, the drama of it, right? So let's do that. I like there, so it's almost touching, looks like it's almost touching the sky. I got random threads here and everywhere. And I think that was my original idea, was to hook it on that branch. Maybe hang it right down in the, what is it, the crook of the branch. Okay, now we could put in a few pins. If you like that placement, there was one that had a sun here and something else. I don't know, I just kind of like it. It doesn't have to be a sunny day, it's just a day. It's just a day. It doesn't have to be a crazy day. All right, so pop a few pins. Trying to go in the order I was going to go sewing so I wouldn't be poking myself. And this is where you could use your free motion foot to just free motion this all the way down, or just use the straight stitches, which is I'm going to do because I want to encourage people to try something new, and you don't need anything different just besides your regular sewing machine. You know, that's it. You can quilt on your own machine, your own little domestic. Okay, so a couple more pins just to secure this, and then we'll stitch all the way around. Alrighty, okay. I think we'll pin that just so it's not going to shift and get in the way of me flipping the tree around, or the wall hanging as I'm stitching it down. Okay, there we go. So get this out of the way. And just go from one side to the next. I'm just going to start on one bottom where the trunk is meeting the ground. And you can use the zigzag stitch, applique stitches, whatever. I mean, if you've got some weird funky stitches on your machine, go for it. Why not? I'm just going to go really close to that edge, as close as I can make it. Don't forget to stop with your needle down, okay, so that way it's not going to shift around on you, okay? And if you have to stop, raise your foot, turn that little angle of the tree. Oh, shift the fabric around as much as you need to. Okay, so I want to keep this straight because I want to, when I'm sewing across here, I want to make sure that I'm stitching down those ribbons from the letter. Okay, and then we come up to the corner, just stop, do a whole little pivot. And then down the other side. And you can hand draw this, you could do yarn, you can use yarn to make your tree if you wanted to. I mean, like it's whatever you got on hand. Or a thicker material like jean, which would like add a little fray, like this is going to do. It's going to add a little fray over time, which will add some depth to the tree branches. You can use brown, tan, make a birch tree. That would be awesome. Go back one step there. There we go. Oops. Move those out of the way. Cool. I think it's cooler than what I anticipated, so. I like doing these things on the fly because then I'm learning with you. And then you learn what not to do. And don't forget to just shift and shift. Make it comfortable for you and your machine. Don't be straining too much. Ow. Yep, that got me. I think that was the first one I said. I wanted to make sure it was directional so it wouldn't poke me. Lo and behold. It poked me. I thought about adding, I have a huge collection of long arm threads, and I thought about adding a little stash of their little rainbow tucked into the little branches to make a little bird's nest. Because it must be a rainbow color. I've got pink and, what was it, gold and blues. I had to clean up a couple little tiny bobbins. I had just a smidgen on it, so I was, I have to check out Long Arm Wednesday. I did my niece's Elephants on Parade quilt. It was a weekend project, and then I'll be quilting it up on Long Arm Wednesday. And it looks pretty cool, and it's got its bits and bobs everywhere. Very excited. And it had lots of white threads in there, so I needed to load a bunch of bobbins to fill it all up. I think I counted in the end. It was 7.5 bobbins. Oops, sorry. Couple more branches to go. This is the long part. Yeah, it's almost borderline quilted to death. But I'm hoping she loves it. I know I've had a lot of fun working on it, and it's definitely a fun quilt for her. And she'll always have the know-how that you know, Auntie made it, and she showed people online how to make it, and if they wanted to. Make sure your trunks are going the right way, or you end up with weird situations with your elephants. Almost there. Okay. We actually have I believe it's one of our guild meetings is on the night before Valentine's Day, and I think I'm supposed to be bringing treats, so I was gonna make heart-shaped cookies, but if I could, I'm not sure if I'm that talented, but do little quilt patterns in each little heart-shaped cookie sort of thing for the quilting ladies. Like, why not, right? If I can. They may just be getting cookies. Some of them you're only gonna have like a one little stitch at the top before you end up flipping. Okay, and I may have to lay that one out just a bit different. Didn't seem like he was laying flat. And of course, you don't have to make as many branches either. You know, I think the one I saw had like 2 branches. It was like the stalk of the tree and 2 branches, but you know, I'm an overeager achiever. It's like, oh, I can make that, and I do this, and I got this, and yeah. My first thought was actually make a kite stuck in the tree. And no, I'll put an envelope. A little heart-shaped envelope. Maybe in a spring or summer themed sort of wall hanging, a kite would be kind of cool. Especially because you can add extra dimension. You can, you know, the ribbon could be the tail, and you can make it so it's puffy, or, you know, actually not necessarily move, but it was, you know, be dimensional, sort of like this, right? Tactile. All right, we are almost there. Get right up into the tip of that. You know, pop a couple of birds in the background, and they don't even have to be like, you know, they just need to be a couple of V pieces of dark fabric, and it looks like a bird from a distance, right? So if you're not good with birds, then, you know, think outside the box. You can always get buttons, put buttons and bird buttons in the tree. Why not? So you come up with more ideas as I'm going along here. I thought at first when I was cutting it, I'm like, that's not really the perfect looking tree. And I'm like, you know what, there's no perfect trees. So just be happy with what I've done. It'll look like a tree to me. Okay, move this guy out of the way. Cut the last little extension of the branch here. I know, a lot of flipping and flopping. Like I said, I could have easily have just heat and bonded it right on, or what have you. Or even if you were to free motion it with the drop your feed dogs, have your free motion foot, open-toed foot on, you could, you know, you didn't have to do the flipping and flopping either. You could have done whatever you like, in whichever position you like. Very excited for spring to come, that's for sure. Had enough of this winter. We've had so many ice storms here. You know, it seems like at least one day a week we had, or 2 days a week, we had like no buses just because our side roads were nothing but skating rinks, so. All right, down to the trunk of the tree. One more, and across the bottom. There. What do we think of that? Hopefully it looks okay. It looks okay from the back side here, but I'm just looking at curves. So there we go. Little dancing heart. And there we go in the back. Kind of cool. Like I said, I'll border it out with some pinks and some reds. And it'll just hang up in the shop here. Put a little doweling at the top and put a little pink ribbon or a little red ribbon, or maybe I'll even find some heart-shaped ribbon or something like that just to accent it all. But yeah, and like I say, you can either You want, you could add like another little, you know, scoop here with your stitches, so it adds a little landscape there, and add some maybe like some floofs with the floofs. Is that really a word? Some floofiness with the clouds, you know, whatever, you know, let it speak to you, okay? So thanks everybody for joining me for this little weekend project, little happy Valentine's Day and happy Love Day to everybody out there. And hopefully you get to spend it with the ones you love, whether they be big, tall, old, young, whatever. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.